Welcome, listeners, to the Logical Monk channel. I am your host, Cop, an engineer with over 25 years of professional experience, here to help you decode the complexities of life and spirituality through the lens of strict logic and practical application. This is a special series designed specifically to troubleshoot the daily operational issues, the bugs we encounter in our everyday lives.
Today, we are tackling one of the most frustrating glitches that plagues our mental operating systems: the phenomenon of overthinking, overanalyzing, and the sheer inability to fall asleep. Welcome to today's episode, titled "Can't Break the Cycle? An Engineer's Guide to Fixing the Infinite Loop in Your Head and Achieving Deep Sleep in 5 Minutes."
Have you ever experienced this scenario? You have worked yourself to the bone all day, your physical body is utterly exhausted, and you just want to collapse into bed. Yet the moment your head hits the pillow and the bedroom lights go out, the lights inside your mind suddenly blaze into full illumination. Instead of allowing your brain to rest, it feels as though someone has flipped a master switch, forcing the machinery in your head to roar back to life. Unfinished projects, a passive-aggressive comment from your boss this afternoon, or even a deeply embarrassing memory from a decade ago all bubble to the surface, clashing together in absolute chaos. Speaking strictly as an engineer, I can assure you that this is not a normal state of rest. What you are experiencing is a system error, a bug, specifically known in computer science as an infinite loop. In programming, if we instruct a computer to execute a task without providing an endpoint or a termination condition, the machine will simply repeat the same action indefinitely. It consumes massive amounts of system resources. The hardware overheats, the cooling fans spin violently, and eventually the entire system simply hangs or crashes. Human beings operate on remarkably similar architecture. The insomnia caused by cyclical thinking is not a sign that you are wonderfully diligent or exceptionally thorough. Rather, it means your brain, your central processing unit, CPU, is executing a faulty command. You are actively trying to run a complex problem-solving software at the exact moment the system is scheduled to enter sleep mode to conserve power. The first paradigm shift you must make tonight is recognizing that these late-night thoughts are not crucial data that require immediate saving. They are simply junk files, residual cache left over from a heavy day of processing. If you actively focus on them, desperately trying to compute solutions at 2 o'clock in the morning, you are essentially pressing the accelerator to the floor while the car is in neutral. The engine will roar, the RPMs will redline, but the vehicle will not move forward a single inch. You will only succeed in destroying the engine prematurely. Therefore, right now, in this precise second, we are not going to analyze your life's problems. Instead, we are going to assume the role of the system administrator. We are going to execute a forced stop on this abnormal process to recover the peaceful sleep your system desperately requires.
Moving into our second phase, before we can patch a bug, we must isolate how the infinite loop was triggered in the first place. A loop typically initiates when we set a condition that dictates continue repeating this action until. The fundamental flaw for those suffering from overthinking at night is that we inadvertently set conditions that are utterly impossible to fulfill at that specific time.
For instance, you might inadvertently program your mind with the command, "Worry about your financial debts continuously until you have accumulated enough capital to pay them off." Or perhaps, "Think about your ex-partner on a continuous loop until you uncover the exact logical reason why they left you." Do you spot the algorithmic anomaly here? It is mathematically impossible to satisfy those conditions whilst lying in bed at 2 in the morning. In computer engineering, this is known as a runtime error. The program is attempting to access data that simply does not exist in the current environment. Your brain is tirelessly running complex simulations over and over again to find the most optimal outcome. However, because the necessary data is missing or the future event has not yet occurred, the brain remains stuck in the loop, much like a hamster endlessly running on a wheel. What makes this particularly hazardous is a natural psychological mechanism known in Buddhist philosophy as upadana, or attachment. The more intensely we replay a thought, the deeper the neural groove becomes, much like a needle stuck on a broken record. The more it loops, the harder it is to extract. As this happens, your biological battery depletes, your core body temperature rises, your heart rate accelerates, and cortisol, the stress hormone, floods your system. You become highly alert, despite your physical hardware begging for sleep. To use an industrial manufacturing analogy, your machinery is currently experiencing an overheat protocol. System-wide alarms are ringing. The solution is not to add more fuel or introduce new variables to the equation. We must sever the circuit immediately. We need to rewrite the line of code commanding the repeat function, replacing it with a command the brain can actually execute in this present microsecond. This will shatter the loop and allow the system to cool down. This brings us to our third step. If you wish to stop a rapidly spinning industrial turbine, you do not simply grab it with your bare hands. You would lose your arm. Similarly, aggressively ordering yourself to stop thinking right now only creates more pressure, causing further wakefulness. When software engineers need to inspect a malfunctioning program, they insert a tool into the code known as a breakpoint. For human beings, the most efficient factory-installed breakpoint we possess from birth is the breath. Why the breath? Because it is the only physiological metric that operates entirely in real time. The past is deleted. The future has not been downloaded yet, but the inhalation and exhalation are executing now. When you consciously shift your focus away from the chaotic mental noise and anchor it to the physical sensation of air at the tip of your nose or the rise and fall of your abdomen, you are effectively switching the system's power supply. Imagine your brain possesses a finite amount of RAM, or temporary memory. When you are trapped in an overthinking loop, nearly 100% of that RAM is hijacked by junk thoughts. But the moment you redirect your awareness to your breathing, you are actively reclaiming those RAM resources back to your physical body. As RAM is reallocated to monitor the breath, the power feeding your thoughts diminishes, and the mental loop automatically begins to decelerate. The statistical probability of it stopping instantly is low, so do not expect immediate perfection. The technique requires merely acknowledging that you are thinking and gently redirecting your awareness back to the breath. Take a long inhalation, a long exhalation. Count 1. Inhale, exhale. Count 2. Continue this rhythmic process. It is akin to setting a metronome to gradually slow the system's clock speed. Do not fight the thoughts, simply step back to observe them. Use your breath as an anchor in the storm. Regardless of how violent the waves are, if the anchor holds firm, the vessel will eventually stabilize. Let us proceed to part 4. As you focus on your breath, you will inevitably find your mind drifting back to work emails or future anxieties. Do not become frustrated. This is a standard operational variance. In programming languages, there is a built-in automated protocol called garbage collection, designed to clear out obsolete data from the memory. When an intrusive thought arises, do not engage with it. Act purely as a motion sensor. Simply apply a label to it and let it pass. If a thought about work appears, mentally note processing work thought and return to the breath. If anxiety about the future surfaces, label it processing future anxiety and return to the breath. By doing this, you are sending a clear directive to your brain's operating system. This file is junk data. Do not allocate processing power to it. By withholding emotional weight and refusing to add variables to the thought, its priority status is downgraded in the system queue, and it will organically fade away. In Buddhist practice, this is the profound observation of arising and passing away. Understand clearly, we are not permanently deleting data from your hard drive. Tomorrow morning, you will still retain all your memories about work. Right now, we are merely clearing the RAM to lighten the system load. We are tagging these files with a note that says, "Suspend process, will re-evaluate tomorrow." From a management and engineering perspective, this is the high-level art of letting go. It is the intelligent reprioritization of system processes. At bedtime, the absolute highest priority process is the biological repair of your body, not attempting to solve the world's most complex issues. Allow your physical hardware the bandwidth to perform its necessary diagnostics by keeping the mental workspace as clear as possible. We have now reached our final sequence. Having lifted your foot off the accelerator, broken the circuit, and initiated the garbage collection protocol, your system is now running at a stable idle. Operating temperatures are returning to optimal levels. This is the golden window to execute a complete and total shutdown. I invite you to place your trust in the grand operating system of nature. The universe functions on an algorithm far more expansive than our individual selves. All the problems you are carrying, all the heavy data you are holding on to, leave them right there on the bedside table. I assure you, mathematically, the world will not crash in the next 6 to 7 hours merely because you paused your processing. Deep, restorative sleep is the ultimate reboot. Every IT professional knows that when a machine is hopelessly corrupted, the most statistically effective solution is to turn it off and on again. Your mind and body require that exact same reset. Surrendering to sleep is not an act of avoidance, it is the strategic preparation of your hardware, ensuring you boot up tomorrow with maximum efficiency to tackle those very same problems. Take one more deep inhalation and release a long, slow exhalation. Let go of the logic. Let go of the rationale. Drop the engineer persona. Drop your ego and leave nothing behind but the gentle, rhythmic cadence of your breath. Give yourself permission to rest. Give the system permission to repair itself. Tonight, your firewall is up. No bugs can infiltrate your peace. Your system is secure and successfully entering its final sleep mode. May tonight serve as a profound recharge for your battery. Sleep deeply, wake up optimized, and I shall see you in the next module. I am COP-CM, the engineer of the Karma algorithm. Please consider subscribing to our feed so you do not miss out on future insights and system updates. Until next time, good night.